Gee whiz, Danny, you have a little bit of a little schmutz on your face. Are you fans? Do you know what that word means? It makes you a fanatic. Consider myself a bit of a wordsmith. I'm most certainly a linguist. Some words you can call yourself, some need to be pinned on you, some need to be earned. Let's give you a little shock value here. Pardon me. Trying to get the YouTubeinator to flip you guys from videos that I'm premiering over to live videos. Let me know in the chat if it worked. It doesn't look like it does. I don't know. I can't be bothered to look at all this stuff. So my most recent Alive day was on Saturday when I was up at my property. Those of you who haven't heard, ended up no worse for wear, compound fracture, shattered bone, 113 subcutaneous stitches. Well, how could something like that possibly happen, Danny? I think the volume even works on this thing. Oh boy. Shelly doesn't like me to play this because she ends up yelling a lot in the video. I have to cover my face. Hold on. Here we go. Focus, damn you. Yeah, I'll make a real video eventually, but for now, you guys have to deal with this kind of thing. So what you're hearing is, oh, here's Daniela. Come over here, Daniela, on this side. And poke your head in and say hello. Hello. Here's my 22-year-old looking at herself in the thing. Where the hell are you? It's all backward. Hello?
Hello.
Are you wearing any makeup?
No, I just got a facial.
That's what you look like at 22 without a facial. Is that the spitting image of Shelly or what? You look in there.
Oh.
But you'd rather look at yourself over there on the thing. All right, get out of here.
I need the permits for the world shoot.
She needs the permits for the world shoot. Well, they're not there. Nope. I'll get them to you in a minute. Get out of my office. She brought me some ice for my hand. All right, so Navy taught me how to blow shit up, and now I get a kick out of it, even though I have to pay for the materials. So I'm up on the property, our 151 acres, and a grenade went off in the barrel. Legal fun toys, if you know about the NFA, all rules apply. Eye protection, ear protection, saved my life. A lot of folks are coming out and saying, oh my God, you're a big hero, whatever. No, I mean, it was an accident and could have immediately been deadly and really horrific. Precautions were taken, obviously, and things go wrong. If you're able to do what I do and think about the absolute worst case scenario, they call you a prepper. But the worst case scenario, all you can do is prepare yourself for that. And of course, don't go in the ocean if you want to avoid a shark attack. Ever. I'm afraid of sharks. Don't go in the water. That's all. Daniela's my oldest, 22 years old. My girls are 3 years apart. 16, 19, 22. All right, short version of this. This stupid thing happens. I didn't even know Shelly had her phone there, and she just dropped her phone, starts screaming. And my words are, those of you that know, relax and evaluate. In a moment like that, when everything is narrow and fierce, and you're wondering what you should be doing, you either lose your shit or you become the one that helps out. And unfortunately, sometimes you're the one that's the injured party and has to kind of take control. So I figured out that I had no immediate life-threatening injuries. There's no blood pumping out of my jugular. Thank you, God. And I'll drive myself to the hospital 2 hours. So that was fun. All right, but this isn't about that. Let's call Hender. You guys keep your comments coming, your questions mostly. And I'm working, by the way.
Donnie D.
Why does your Donnie D sound a little different? What are you,
Because I want to make sure that you're alive.
are you at the grocery store? What are you doing?
Jesus, man, you just scared the shit out of me, man. Holy shit. You're pressing the button there, they're like, wow.
Have you ever been through a serious trauma in your life?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Car crash?
Yes, I saw the car crash, actually. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, I did.
Wow. And
something that I'm not proud of, but I had an extra drink and I forgave myself for it, and that's why now I never do it.
Yeah.
Ever again. I still drink, but I just don't drive while I drink.
Never,
Um,
ever. Yeah.
But I did that mistake several years ago, and I did that mistake, and I accepted the full responsibility for it. And what happened was that I took a fucking shot of tequila, and me and shot don't get along, much less tequila. And all of a sudden, it got me to puke for some reason, and I was puking through the window, and then all of a sudden, a tree just got in the way
Oh.
of me in the road.
Uh,
Bam! Head on.
Oh my God.
Flip over, and couple minutes later, I woke up, and anyway. But thanks God, nothing happened. They brought me to the hospital and everything, but nothing happened to me, and I was fine. But
So
I saw the light.
you're
Not to compare.
not well. I'm only asking because you had no serious injuries. All the seatbelts
Negative.
and everything. Popped up.
The silver was on, but the van was a flip over. As a matter of fact, I was doing one of the delivery for the one that for the you know that I have that little pickup and delivery for business.
Yeah.
The hair salons and stuff. So I was doing that route back in the talking about 14 years ago. I was doing the route when I was doing it, and I stopped in my last stop, and they I like to cut my hair there, and then the ladies Dominican, they have drinking here. It was Friday,
Oh no.
and they have cheese, and they have cookies, and they have bread, and they have and then
Tapas.
one tequila led into another one, and then I drove after that, and it was a bad decision.
Yeah. I have to say that the one time that I had, dude, I don't know. That's why I ask. Have you had trauma in your life? Meaning,
Yeah.
with the injuries, and what do you do and how do you handle it? Look, I forget about what I did in the Navy. When I was 17, I kicked in the front door of a burning house because these people were standing outside of their own home saying my dog is in there. And I was like, basically the garage was burning and part of the house. I just
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think. None of us
Mm-hmm.
really know. What would you do? And a lot of guys are like all puffed up, and I'm going to beat somebody if they say this or that about my wife or my daughter. Well, okay, you're an idiot. You're putting yourself in harm's
Mm-hmm.
way. There's no need for that.
Yep.
But I kicked in this front door, and actually, it was open. I was going to kick it in, but the door was open, and I ran in there, and I'm calling the dog, and the dog was in the very far back room under the bed. So I dragged the dog out. Big dog. I bring the dog out. Big hero. And then the adrenaline kicks in, and you start to shake, and you start to realize, like, what the fuck did I just do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? It just. I was wondering why the mother and the kids weren't in the house getting their dog, but whatever. I mean, the fire department
Yeah.
was behind me, and that's one of the first things that I ever did. Where you see where that moment happens, you just go, "Oh, what's everybody? Oh, our dog's in there." Well, the dog's not going to jump out the fucking window. And I don't know,
Nope.
ad nauseum things, metals on the wall, and then, stupid accidents. my daughters in Mexico falling down and multiple sprains to their arm. You're like, okay, well, this isn't going to hurt. And then you fix it. Or my daughter had a horrible gash on her chin, another one on her head. And the second I see it, before the blood comes out, I smash my thumb on it. I'm like, hey, Shelly, get the car. You know, we're going to go to the ER. And then we get there, and the doctor says, well, let me have a look. I'm like, nah, get your suture kit ready, and then I'll move my thumb off. And like, okay. And then they stitch it up without any blood coming out. It's like, all right, good day. That's sort of the thing. But when and I think the point I'm making, when this happens to me, it looks painful. And thinking about your own face being gashed open or assessing yourself for a concussion in the moment, I never feel pain until later. I guess maybe that's the same. I feel like it's the same for everyone, because if I'm in a movie theater and everybody's laughing and I don't find it funny, there's probably something wrong with me. And I feel like when, why don't I get it, right? And when I ask people, have you ever been through serious trauma? It's not a hero moment. It's just you do what you have to do or you fall apart. There's no in between. And part of that is training, sure, to understand. So it's funny you said you had the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, when I pulled that trigger, I saw a light. I mean, it was basically a flash bang grenade. That's what they're called. So the flash, which I can show I know it's just you and me talking, but our viewing audience. And if any of you guys haven't seen this, you can go watch the live from yesterday. And I'm old school, man. I'm just sitting here looking at pictures on my phone. My oldest was able to catch the actual moment of this thing going off for all of us, and you can see the literal Jesus moment. Here we go. Hold on. And the second after that, we slowed the tape down, and we're trying to see where all the parts and pieces of the launcher went and try to understand why I have the injuries that I do. Well, the stock on this thing was solid fiberglass, and it split completely down the center. So imagine, a fiberglass, and that's my ear protection there that split in half, my right ear protection. One of Daniela's sponsors. In this picture, you can the actual shell is made of aluminum, and it hit me right in the forehead. That could have been, your eyeballs are the window to the brain. So if even the primer, you see it in the air there, if even the primer would have gone into my eye, instant. I feel bad for Shelly because I'm instantly dead laying there, and she's kind of like, oh, well, who do I call now? This is a pretty good still shot. Eye protection, ear protection. But enough about me. I can only tell you what I thought in the moment. From all of the traumas I've experienced, when you talk to other people is when you get the most insight into it. And in that instant, I'm either dead or alive. So the second it happens, your first instant thought is, well, that didn't take me out. Not dead. And then you need to start assessing how you get beyond the trauma. So right away, my first thing that I did, eyes, ears, throat. So I touched, my eye protection was on. I touched my ears. My left ear I pulled out, put it on the table. My right ear was in pieces. Ear meaning, my ear protection. So my ears are not ringing at all. Imagine that. My ears aren't ringing. I can see perfectly well. It was a flashbang grenade, actually, legal NFA device. Hot round, which happens if you play with toys, right? So then you start to check and there was blood everywhere. You know, the blood on my head was gushing down my thumb. And I'm only going to tell this story once or twice, kids. No pain. You don't feel pain, so you don't go, oh, gee, my chest hurts. So you have to literally, if someone's not available to help you, you yourself has to go over everything and see where the holes are. So I'm feeling my throat because I'm thinking I'm 40 minutes from the nearest highway and 2 hours from the nearest level 1 trauma hospital. So I'm saying, all right, jugular wounds. No. I know I'm not wounded below the waist. Thank you, Jesus. And I look at my thumb and I go, oh boy. All right. Well, I could see the bone coming out. So it might be time to hold my hand up, elevate it. And I got to calm Shelly down. If you watch the video, within 6 seconds, I started the Humvee so we could beat feet back to the big truck and get out of there. So I'm driving. Did you hear this part, Hender? I'm driving on the highway doing 106, 107 in the dually. Things golden, of course. Yeah, I'm driving. Shelly's working the brights, big light bar. And I literally have sirens in my trucks because, you never know when you're going to need to get to the ER. And these people still don't fucking get over. They're still in the left lane. I'm doing 80. The position where people can move over and you can go faster. So I'm praying I see a cop. Sure enough, DPS. I look down, I'm doing 97. I don't even try to slow down. I figure that this guy's going to yank me. I'm going to pull over as fast as I can. I'm going to say, hello, looking like Frankenstein. He's going to say, let's get you an escort. Whee! Lights and sirens all the way to the hospital. No, 97 miles an hour. I look at him on the side of the road. He's running traffic. He looks at me. I zoom right by. Nothing. Fuck. You imagine? Never a cop when you need one. I don't know what he thought. People say
it is similar like the police in my country, that they arrive when you don't need them.
All right.
And yet again, we have the utmost respect for police and everybody else. But look,
of
the
course,
ability to
absolutely.
you say, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I'm making a joke, and it's different. We know that. I mean, I'm friends with the chief of police in the town where my penthouse is down in Old Mexico, and respect. But they got to make their money somehow. Okay, let's call up our friend. And if those of you don't know, Hender's got his first free laundromat. Hender's and I are working on the second one, and we had a lovely call. We sent an LOI, and what are we trying to get Monica after sending the LOI? She's got questions. What happened? Remind us all, including me.
So she's all gun ho. Obviously, she's the mouthpiece for the landlord, and she, the only thing she says is like, obviously she tried to contact me, and she's like, look, Hender, the landlord said that you came a little bit low, and you asking for 12 months. So can we just bridge the gap a little bit and meet somewhere there?
Okay.
So what did I do? I ignore her. I convey the intel to you. And then we go into phase 2. You know what I mean? So, but she didn't say anything about key fee or anything like that, or she didn't say F you or,
no,
you know what I mean? So
she's lovely. And we started at $30,000 key fees. The landlord had it in his head that since it is a laundromat, not just empty space, since it is a laundromat, not a proctologist's office or a bar, they deserve 30 grand. Okay, no. And I made it abundantly clear just to get that elephant out of the room that wasn't going to happen. And she's like, fine. So the $30,000 gone. Not a sale price for a business, but what they think they deserve in order to hand you over the keys. That's why it's commonly called key fees or an allocation fee. You're not taking over someone's lease. We're creating a new one. So that's gone. We offered $1 a square foot, and she said, "Well, you need to come up." But what did she do? She emailed you?
She texted me only
Okay.
because she had my number. Yep.
Okay.
She texted me, but yeah. Danny, before we go any further, I just want to say I have, much respect for what happened to you and how you reacted. I know you're not looking for accolades or any of that shit. I know you don't roll that way, but the ability of you when you got fucked up and thinking about Shelly, just look, relax, evaluate. It's okay. How can it be okay? You all fucked up and you have alive, and then yet again you worry about her, saying, "Look, relax, evaluate." This shit is not made up. It's not like, oh, let me just do this so I can get more clicks or more views or more. Fuck that, man. Much respect, Donnie.
Thank
Jesus
you.
Christ.
Yeah, your texts were funny, and I'm, you know, I didn't even know she was filming it, and here I am trying to do your lease, and you're still talking about this, but she just happened to, she just shot my Uzi, full auto, hour Uzi, and she shot 3 mags through it, and so thank Christ we both had eyes and ears in, because that flare, that launcher, I'll shoot that thing sometimes without eyes in, like an idiot. So we had eyes and ears. You have to look at a firearm or anything that's dangerous like that and say, what's the worst that could happen? If it malfunctions, if it cooks off around in the barrel, if this or that or the other, you're not going to wear welding gloves and a helmet, but you have to have precautions. And I didn't even
Right.
know she was filming me. I said, watch this. And she's filming me. And then when it went off, she dropped her phone. She didn't even think of it. She just dropped it. So it's laying there
Right.
looking
Yep.
up on our range for 16 minutes because we went back. I evaluated. I told her, okay, you need to look me all over, make sure there's no other holes we don't know about. And then I need, when someone's having a baby and you've got the husband running around in circles, you send him off to boil water. We need 5 gallons of boiled water. And then he's going to be gone on a mission for 20 minutes. And it's really just to get him out of the room. I told Shelly, I need wet, cold paper towels. But the reality is I don't want to bleed out any further on a 2-hour drive to the hospital. So she was great about that. And then she came back and she's calmed down. She got the poodle in her hands, everything. And then we have to take the 4,500-pound trailer off of the dually. We're talking about being up on our acreage. We're 40 minutes solid to the nearest pavement on a beautiful paved, bladed road. But this is the life you choose. If you go, look, I've got accountant friends who I love who would, my friend Gannon says, you got a whole different thing going on over there. They've got Disney passes. That's their thing. That's their family. And me, it's like, what are we doing this weekend? No plans? Well, I'm not going up in a fucking hot air balloon. Don't get me wrong. That's stupid. That is ridiculous. I'm not going to let some carny decide whether or not I survive the day. But anyway, you're bringing it back. So, and I just want to say, for me personally, I didn't save anybody's life but my own. I didn't even save my own life. I put myself in this position. That's the reality of this particular thing. And you're always looking out for Shelly, as am I. And that's really, yeah, she's every day she shakes now. And that's PTSD. That's what it is. You go through a traumatic, and her and the dog have it. I don't have it. The dog's under the covers and he's like making these little barking noises. It's crazy. I'm like, why is the dog suddenly barking in his sleep? She's like, he doesn't like loud noises. He doesn't like the smell of hospitals. He was in the hospital with her. I know you and you're one of the people that I really wanted to thank for the text messages and everything else. There's been a big outpouring. Daniela and I.
But Danny, how do you fake this shit? How much real can it get? You know what I mean? And I was one of the one that was doubting you in the beginning, and I said with the utmost respect, it took I had to take my ass all the way to Florida for that event to see if you were real. And yet again, you prove yourself, and here it comes. Like, okay, how if you want to know whether this guy is real or not, how about to put it into this situation and realize that he cared more about his wife than about himself. It really, it's much respect. I don't know if there is another word, but a much respect, man.
Thank you. There's yeah, there's a lot to the story, but I can only try to convey to you how I feel internally and remembering how I felt in the moment. It's different when you go unconscious. I've been there because you're out. And when you wake up, you're not sure if it's been a minute, an hour, or a month. And when you stay conscious, you have a very different effect because you say, okay, well, this just happened and now we have to do this other thing. And everything that's going on with the sounds, the sights, where's the blood coming from? My wife is having a very, very hard time right now. You know, all that stuff comes into play. If I were alone, it would have been a different scenario. But someone did listen to the video and told me it was 6 seconds before you had real action, starting the Humvee, getting everybody hustled in there and moving off. And then 16 minutes later, I came back and you can see my bloody hand pick up her cell phone because I was like, all right, I'm not going to leave the Uzi on the range, even though no one but us has ever been on this property. It's that middle of nowhere, no accidental, you know, hunters might come across our property, I guess, but seems crazy. But I'm like, look, let's take care of some shit. Then we'll go to the hospital. Not a big deal. But I was the talk of the nursing staff. I'll tell you that. Like they're walking in, looking in the window. That's the guy that drove himself here. Like, come on, please. It's stupid. All right. Anyway, I want to get this broad on the phone. All I'm going to ask her is.
Let's do it. And sorry, I keep bringing you back to it, but I can't help it.
I know. We'll talk about it. All I'm asking Monica is, where are we at?
Right.
How do we move forward and get this thing signed? It's a negotiation, and you know, she didn't come up with anything specific. And it's late in the afternoon. It's a Friday. Let's see if she picks up. Here we go.
All right, you got it. 10-4. Stand by.
We like Monica a lot. Now's where you subscribe.
Is this Danny?
How would it not be Danny? Who else would it be?
Like, oh wait, 480. I think I know that area code. How are you, Danny?
What's going on?
Not much. You caught me at a good time because I'm driving. All right, so I heard back from the owner, and he said we're way too far apart. You know, 12 months free, offering less than half of ask. You know, it's like we're very, very, very far apart.
Okay.
And I know your position. You don't want to go back and forth. So I just needed to fill you in on that. I don't know if you're willing to come up at all.
Yeah, of course. I don't mind going back and forth, but what we're providing you is what is appropriate, fair, and commensurate rates when our group is going to come in and completely renew that equipment and end up with a $6,000-$7,000 a month bill. That's not your problem. You know, you can certainly convey that to them or say, hey, let's vanilla the space, turn it into an optometrist's office or something completely different. You've seen our real offer. What is the best you can do? Where are we at?
So, you know, I listened to my guys when they talk, and he said, look, I'm giving you my best offer. So I didn't know, you know, how good I could do for you because I thought you submitted your best and final. So you submitted, all right, so he's looking for $216 a square foot or $214. I think you submitted, I know yours worked out on the annual basis.
Yeah, $12 a year, $1 a month.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's
It was $1.
Yeah.
It was $1. All right.
But it's 1,760 square feet. And I'm not including cams and taxes in that. That's just base rent plus. I understand.
Yeah.
You know, cams, taxes, triple nets. I can't do anything about that. But I mean, truly, this is how we have to get there. I'm telling you what a strong operator with several locations in the tri-state area should be paying
Listen,
for
I
a,
sent him your website.
yeah.
And I sent him your website. I'm like, check this guy out. I thought it was cool. It was very interesting, your website and, you know, your testimonials that you have. So, yeah, no, I think I have a good idea of who you are and what business you run, you know, just based on the couple of clicks that I did. So I understand what he's getting. You know, it's a matter of, you know, we can come up, you know, and we can do incremental increases over the years. You
Of
know,
course.
so if he's at 214, you did $1. 214 divided by 2 is $1.07. You know, can you come up to $1.25? Could you come up to $1.25? And let me go back to him with that. You know,
Let's
plus the
go
cans are
go back with $1.20 plus. Yes, $1.20.
$1.20.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Monica,
Okay.
while you're driving, please have your hands at 10 and 2. Always be careful while you're driving. You know,
Okay.
there's what we
I'm
put
a
in.
mom. I'm a mom.
What we
Before
put in the
anything, I'm a
LOI,
mom.
what we put in the LOI is what we really need to be successful, not to get rich, to make this place work so that we're out of your hair. And if we can say yes to $1.20, the rest is easy. We start ordering equipment and getting this done. So it's Friday afternoon. God bless.
Yeah.
You know, let me know what you find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drive safe
Okay,
and
awesome.
get back to me. Text me, call, send an email. Let me know.
Okay, awesome.
All
Thanks,
right, love.
man. Have a good weekend.
Ciao. Adio.
Have a good weekend. All right, bye. Bye.
Isn't that funny? Nice gal. She's a mom. She's Italian, paisana. She says, I don't really know what we can do for you. I thought that was your best and final. You'll never hear me say best and final. Real estate agents, car salesmen, all kinds of individuals that think they are good at Arab horse trading, they go around and say the same stupid shit. And I like her, but I'm saying, when did I say best and final? Never in my life. Because the moment you say best and final, you might as well cut your own throat. You're saying, basically, I don't want to negotiate. That's what you're saying. And I've seen so many, in 21 years, so many landlords come back to me 12 months later, 2 years later, and act like that best and final never happened. So we just went from $24 a square foot to $1.20. So yeah, that's good. And dude, you know me. If she says can you say $1.25? No, I can say $1.20.
No. Yeah, right.
What am I, a schmuck?
Even though that a 125 will be golden anyway.
Who Who would ever say, "Oh, that's good"? Yeah. You ever hear somebody say you're trying to buy an apple cart, and they say, "Yeah, this is my apple cart. Look, I could sell it. I don't really want to, but I could take, I don't know, 4 or 5 grand." Who's going to give you 5? You'll never get to 6. All I heard was 3. Like, you can't say 4 or 5 grand. What? Who talks that way? That's $3,000, maybe $3,500. All right. Well, listen, now it's all fun and games. I know it's a Friday afternoon. Stay off the sauce. Don't be drinking and driving, you silly bastard. And I mean, you can stay on if you want. You with the kids? I hear you whispering.
Listen, but not for nothing. We, I think the only way to grow as a person, I guess. I mean, as a friend, as a father, as a business owner, is just to accept your mistakes and look. I'm not proud of it, but at the end of the day, look, I'm accepting and telling everybody, you know what, because I made that mistake. So
oh yeah, no.
I'm not. Can learn from it.
I'm not making.
You know what I'm
fun
talking about?
Yeah,
I hope you can learn from it,
dude. Listen.
So,
Shelly and I went to a bar. We were together for our first 2 years maybe, and I'm on a Harley. This is part of the trauma I've been through, right? And it's always bad. And we got invited into. All of a sudden, you see somebody you know. It's like you said. I feel you. You see some guys you know. We literally went down to Cave Creek, which a big, motorcycle enthusiast. I'm not a biker. Town, and bikes everywhere. Everybody rides there. And we ran into people we know. And so it's like, oh shit. But we were going to town to eat pizza. Went into the bar to have a drink, then eat pizza. Well, guess what? We stay there an hour. It turns into an hour and a half. Pizza place is closed. So now we don't have any food in our stomach. And this is horrible. But what I want to say is, thank God I didn't kill somebody, right? Forget about me or Shelly, the other innocent people that are on the road. You learn a lesson and you say, you know what? You never, ever, ever, ever take a sip of alcohol, do whatever you do drug-wise, and get on the, you're taking the world's life into your hands. You're going to take somebody's innocent life. It's utter, for that, we were southbound on basically a highway and ended up northbound on the same road. There's cactus in between, and the whole family shows up. And the first time that her family said, oh, Danny's in the next room and you're not going to recognize him. Shit, I'm fine. These stitches in my cheek are actually on top of other stitches, so it's a little funny. But I laugh at it, not because I'm some tough guy or because I did some heroic thing, but it's just stupid. You make stupid mistakes, and so I'm not here to pick on you or anybody else. It's whether or not you learn from those mistakes that changes the rest
I
of
agree,
everything.
100%.
You hear about these
100%.
people. He's in a lot of trouble. He's got 4 DUIs. What? What?
Yeah, right. I get that right. I understand, 100%.
Wow. I mean, I'm not telling you to get a good lawyer, but you're an idiot.
Right.
No, and Mike,
At that point, you right. Sadly, you are at that point.
I was just driving with Daniela back from the range last night. I shot last night, by the way. I shot left hand only. And Daniela was, she ran me on the clock all night and she handed me the pistol. She loaded my pistol for me. I started it low ready instead of holstered. And we could all use left hand practice. It was great fun. I have videos, but I'm not going to bore you with it. Stay on with me for a minute, Hender. We'll listen to the folks. I literally forgot I was on the YouTubeinator there for a minute.
Ay, malvavisco.
All right, you guys need to speak Spanish to Hender. Okay, we're going to burn through your comments, ladies and gents. Happy Friday. I want to say this, too. I'm about to get on the telephone and speak to a young gentleman. He is indicative of perhaps what a lot of you might think. His name is Simon. Simon, I'm going to text him. I'm on YouTube Live. So Simon sent me an email and he said, in part, well, I know you're not consulting right now because I blew myself up. So he just assumed, I'm like, bro, what gave you that idea? I've talked and emailed with people who thought I retired because on April Fool's Day, I made that video. People don't watch the videos. People watch or look at the thumbnail and go, oh, Danny's retired. Oh, okay. People, don't skim through something important. If you're just joining us now, you're like, why does Danny have a little thing on his eye? Well, I heal like Wolverine. I'll tell you what, if you look at yesterday's video, there was a huge scab all over my forehead, and it just kind of fell off. I don't know. I'm lucky. O positive. I got good blood. All right. So if you're one of these folks, no, let's get. And I wrote back to Simon, and I said, dude, what gives you that impression? I'm not. Let's get on. And he went back into the course. He smashed the button, and he's got my cell phone. And now he knows I'm YouTube Live. So maybe Simon will jump in the comments. Good God Almighty. Free at last. Try not to be an idiot. All right. And you guys got to see Daniela for the first time here on the live. We bought her a house, so she doesn't really live here, but she comes here for ice and water. Can you imagine? Ricardo says, damn, man, I'd say you heal pretty fast. Glad to see you're doing well. Yes. Hi, Danny. You're looking better. Shelly's bringing me more vitamins. Medication time, Nurse Ratchet. It's all real here, Hender. Hi, Danny. You're looking better. I looked fine the other day.
Can you tell Shelly I love her?
She already walked out. Shelly!
Hi.
No, it dod not. I don't know what that means. It did not, said Scott. You have a scar that looks like an L. This is just a thing. Shelly. Those of you who've seen some of the long form videos in the course, I've got this gigantic arch. Well, I could probably show you. I don't think that's illegal. There's Shelly. Well, she's going to be coming in with something here with a package. This is my orifice, opening to my orifice. And I wish that was waterproof. I wish that was soundproof, but it's not. That would be pretty cool. Well, that was a fun little thing. Did not have a scar that looks like an L. Good for you. Hey, Danny, how you doing after the incident? Good. I'm good. It didn't work. What didn't work, Danny? You're looking good, brother. Can't wait till we get on the phone next week. Same. Back on the live with the Wolverine. You guys are funny. She's beautiful, just like her mom. Yes, crazy. Danielle, I'm so happy Dad demonstrated what not to do. Lovely as ever. Baby girl. This freaks me out, but she's 22. You guys are so incredibly lucky. Yes, lucky. Thank you. I agree. Ben Kohler, who is your biggest fan, Hender, give him a Donnie D. He loves it.
Donnie D.
Just a bizzle schmutz. No biggie. Not an Iron Man look. Not an Iron Man lookalike after all. I don't know what that means. Someone serious. If something serious happened, would Shelly be able to take the reins and start making landlord calls? Oh, Tom, I thought you were going to ask if she would be able to save me, and that's a solid negative. Landlord calls, that would be even harder for her. Trust me. What a distasteful comment, Southern Gold 777. Oh, stop it, Noah. Leave the guy alone. Good to see you moving around, Danny. That looked really bad. I was moving around the day of. I hope you have a smooth and full recovery. Thank you. Eric, love you, Eric. What is that thing with the teeth? I had a bit of a trauma today, says Ralph. I made it out of my burning apartment to live, but now I lost all my stuff. Oh, shit, Ralph. I'm sorry. But you know what? What everybody says could be worse. Can't worry about the stuff. Hopefully you didn't have a few hundred pounds of gold in a machine gun collection, because that's not something you keep in an apartment. Let's rebuild everything for you, Ralph. I have a plan. Guess what it is? Mr. Patra, the king of coin laundry, yet again survives another attempt on his life. Yes, they will not bring me down. Glad you're doing well, Danny, says Austin. Does wasting 4 hours listening to an audiobook about a laundromat millionaire count as a traumatic event? Austin, that's terrible. Did Austin, serious question, did you learn anything? I'm being serious. Did you learn anything, Austin? Eric says, glad to see you're working hard still. I'm not going anywhere, man. Daily calls. Follow-up start on original, daily calls. Happy You're Good says, Robert, Danny, hug those girls of yours tighter for a while. It's for them, not you. Scary stuff. Daniela's being weird. She and I spend at least 70 hours a week together. We're always at the range. Tomorrow, we're going to spend 6 hours training. We'll be on a 21-hour flight to the Czech Republic, representing the USA in a shooting competition here in 2 weeks. I will be fucking that up. But anyway, she saw that video and threw up. And that kind of rattled me, to be honest. So you're very insightful, Robert. It rattled me. So I was like, wow. And then
You did the right thing about not sending it to her alone.
No. She was out of town and wanted us to text her the video. And I said, no. If they choose to see it, they'll see it in front of us. My middle kid, the 19-year-old, doesn't want to see it. She said, nope, don't want to see it. Doesn't want to have anything to do with it. Doesn't want to look at my stitches. That's her thing. But no, wasn't going to send it to Daniela. Maybe be better prepared next time, says Frank. Well, Frank, the thing is that none of this has to happen, right? I don't ever have to shoot my machine guns or play with splodies. the only precaution you can take is kind of walk away. Don't ever surf again, as they say. Like, oh, you lost a leg? I'm out there surfing. It depends. I stopped riding motorcycles when I had my daughter and got into other stuff. Getting in a car is the most dangerous thing any of us will ever do. You don't wear your seatbelt? Okay. You're going to be ejected. You're not going to survive that crash. I'm sorry. And it's not going to be your fault. It's going to be that cement truck, and that guy's foot slips off the pedal and you're gone. So the best prep, if you can't afford a $300,000 SUV, wear your seatbelt. Oh my God, this is one of the old school comments. Habadine Olarian says, I finally caught a live. Let's hear it for him.
There's that word again.
Dark Defender, Danny Clay here. Thank you, Clay, for giving us your name. I always forget you guys' names. You're crazy, man. Blew yourself up and already on a live. I was on a live 2 days ago. P.S. I plan on showing my children your pictures so they're careful on this 4th of July. Oh, any way I can help, Clay, you bastard. Glad you're okay. Oh, there's Joe Dan Reed. We need crazy people like yourself in this business representing. I agree. Oh, shit. This guy's saying something in Spanish. Hilo, güey, no tienes miedo. Hilo, güey.
No tienes miedo. Yeah, you're not afraid.
EHILO. I know what way is, right? That's like saying dude or man, right? No tienes miedo. You're supposed to be translating.
Miedo. Miedo meaning afraid. You're not afraid to. No tienes miedo.
No tienes miedo. You're not scared. Yeah, dude. Frank says waterproof. Hope
Danny,
she does.
but you know, not for nothing, and please allow me to interrupt you.
Yeah.
That many people said, "Oh, it's crazy, it's this and that," and yet again, you're like, "Dude, this is what I do. This is who I am. This is normal to me. Almost like drinking a cup of coffee in the morning."
Yeah,
Same thing, like they told, "Oh, it was crazy to have 10,000 songs in your pocket," or "It's crazy to have a computer in every house with Bill Gates." And people think that we're crazy, but you know what? This is who we are. It's no different. Oh, messages and accolades and all these different attention that we get for something that we do normally. This is what's so interesting about addressing what's going on. Stay cool, calm, and collective, and moving on into the next chapter or the next mission. So
I think that this.
all I can say is that I was right when I assessed you back in Florida. That's all I can say. So I'm taking credit for myself.
I think this is. I think this has affected you, like seriously. When I've watched a lot of people look at that video, and that's kind of my. I was at the range last night, and I'm showing my friends, and they're like, "What the hell happened to you?" And my hand was wrapped up so that I wouldn't get dirt in it, and they're like, "What the hell happened to you?" And I'd say, "Oh, let me just show you." And I'm watching their face, and it was one of the guys. I said, "Yeah, Daniela threw up," and he goes, "I almost threw up." He's like, "I was," because it's not just you watching some guy on the internet. You're like, "Oh, that's Danny standing there," and then you see me basically almost come apart, and it affects you. It really. It's not just some guy in India on top of a train grabbing the third rail and getting electrocuted. It's kind of like, well, that sucks. But I think when you know the person,
And what makes it even more, I guess, I don't know how to say, maybe appealing to me, or I can connect more with it, is because I've been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I understand that. I know what it is to react under pressure or to be in that situation, and every, like how everybody believes in God when everything is good and well, and you have everything going your way and all the lights are green before you head to town.
yeah, let me
But
tell you how you.
when shit hit the fan, then it's like, oh, why did you do it to me? How can you be doing to me? Like if you do it to the guy next to you, then it's gonna be better,
Sure.
So
The military term for that, and you can translate this to Spanish. There are no atheists in foxholes. There are no
You could-
atheists.
wise
in
words,
foxholes.
wise word were never spoken. Yep.
Yeah, that's a military saying. When you're digging down and making sandbags, it speaks for itself. And my thing was, I'm in the hospital, and I said, one of the guys that was giving me an IV, I said, oh, it's fine. It's pretty much the same. And I said, what that which does not kill us. I don't need to say the rest. And he says, Nietzsche. And I was like, it is not the German philosopher, actually. Look it up. Because Nietzsche reiterates that which does not kill us makes us stronger. And let's see if anybody knows, without Googling it, where that actually originally comes from. I don't like to say things, at least repeat things that are common knowledge or common phrases without knowing where they come from, whether it's biblical, I'll turn the other cheek, an eye for an eye. Okay, I don't need to know whether or not it's the Quran or the Bible. I need to understand what it really means and where it came from. Anyway, Joe Dan Reed from Splash 'Em Out Laundry says, if you could sell Hender's passion, that course would sell out. By the way, you can't call into yourself. Keep grinding. I don't know what I mean. I can't call into myself. What do you think, asked Clay, about putting money down if you're buying a laundromat with a real estate included? I found 2 in close proximity that have real estate for sale with them. Oh boy. My thing about real estate, Clay, buy the building. Get a bank appraisal for the dirt, whatever it is worth, give that or below. That's all. If it's a $400,000 building, you're able to get it for 400 grand, you're doing fine. If you're able to get it for 3, even better. Don't give them a fucking penny for the laundromat. If it's a $400,000 building and happens to have a laundromat and they want $450, no deal. That's all. It couldn't be simpler. What do I think about it? That's a real rule, not just a rule of the broken thumb. Jose says the swelling went down on your cheek. I'm happy you're feeling better. Everybody keeps saying they're happy I'm feeling better. I'm fine. Thank you. Yes, the swelling. My entire nose bridge, if you look at the yesterday's video, was just blue. And I was starting to get a black eye. That kind of went away. Yeah, I'll be fine. Thanks for noticing, Jose. That's adorable. DB, what are your thoughts on circulating dollar coins or tokens in addition to quarters? Mostly allow more time between collections. I understand why cards are problematic. I'm so sorry about the cough. Why? Quarters are tokens. Okay. Dollar coins are nothing but a pain in the dick. Quarters are your tokens. Don't make it any more difficult. And if you're trying to extend time between collections, right, charge more. That's sort of a joke, but not really. He says, my biggest concern, so here's DB's monster under the bed, about laundromats is the impact to my ability to travel. Thanks. Damon is his actual name. Damon, answer this for me. When's the last time you left town for a week or more? Let's hear it. A lot of people have these monsters under the bed. Damon wants to travel. Personally, I don't want to go to Europe for more than 7 days. I don't want to do anything other than breathe for more than 7 days. Shelly says, what do you want to do for dinner? I say, you. Ba-dum-bum. You can use that. Danny, did I misunderstand the assignment? We were supposed to leave the live reveal and write a fictional account about your injuries, right? No, you got the assignment right. Yeah, that's the comments thing, the inside joke. We always have an inside joke in the comments. Sorry, hablo Tex-Mex, not Spanish. We get it. I wish you could bet Danny D on Kentucky Derby 151 tomorrow. Hell yeah, let's do it. Tomorrow's the Derby? Shit, I didn't even know. I got to get my hat. Hey, Danny, just got on, says Wade. You really are Wolverine, dude. You look a lot better than yesterday. Glad to see you're recovering nicely. Thank you. I do heal fast. It's kind of weird. Glad you're okay, Danny. Still on my scooter looking for some laundromats to take over. Cheers, brother. Gracias, Juan. He still has more for you to go. No doubt about that. He's talking about God, Jesus. We're doing some videos. It's going to be fun. Danny, tell us more about the car crash video I got in the middle of the night. Danny, tell us more about the car crash video I got in the middle of the night. I don't know what that means. Amen to that, Danny. Buy the building only. I mean, you can't call into yourself sick. Oh, you can't call sick. Yeah. When you own the company, I have had sick days in the last 21 years. One of them was not the day this happened. So let's just put it that way. I got to be pretty bad off in surgery or completely out cognito. I've done these types of calls on a plane. There's no real excuses. I was hoping you'd say that about the real estate. Thanks. I plan on calling you to help do that deal. I'm way too impatient and way too dumb to close that deal. Well, get the course. That's the first thing. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to the masses, because the course is the only way to get to me. I want you to know what I teach and preach before we go any further. And if you already have it, you're golden.
How ironic. Let me interrupt you. How ironic. How do you say that word? I can pronounce it. Preposterous. How interesting that can be, where you have to couple $100 to invest in a course where you're going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, your time, your life, and for a couple $100, really? Like, what's the worst that can happen? You lose couple $100,
Yeah.
but not even, because you have 100% guarantee. So, I mean, is it me?
You're funny, Henry. You're always selling stuff, and I appreciate it. But I think it goes back to the way that we all think about life in general, and people that sell stupid courses, like somebody that was mentioned here a little bit earlier. I don't know if somebody's trying to wind me up or whatever else, but I did ask them to go further and tell me what they learned from that individual. And I've asked a lot of people face to face, and they say, well, nothing. Everybody's trying to shoot everyone else down. I won't mention anybody's names, because they first sit in their kitchen and say, how can I make money selling all of my information because I'm such a fucking thought leader? How can I make money telling others how to do this? Not the way I did it, but the way they should do it, the way that everyone else is doing it. You know what I mean? That's grade school. It's grade school. And we all need it. But don't give someone $5,000 for some audiobook that's basically telling you, oh, I saved some money and bought a laundromat, and so should you. I'm sorry. What are you teaching me? Great life story. Wonderful. You call yourself the big dick of laundry.com. Good for you. But is it real? Do you have anything to teach? I'm disgusted. 50% of the reason I do this is because I don't want people like you guys to get hurt, to buy or build a laundromat. There's too many snakes out there trying to do both. Sell them to you, have you build them. Then retool the ones you bought, double the price. Hender knows this. He understands all of it. And anybody that follows me, not lockstep, but just close enough, sees it, understands it, does it. There's no us and them. There's us and the fucking liars. Because the rest of them, they have an agenda. The agenda is to line their pockets in some way. I have sponsors, and therefore I have a phony YouTube channel with clickbait, unwatchable content. So what do? We buy followers. Oh, God, please. I'd rather have 11 followers that I've taught something truly than 11 million followers that are just entertained, because this isn't an entertainment channel. It's not. It's not. Even the other day, after I blew myself up, I didn't come on here and I did one thing. I came on here and I called a landlord. Because it's, and like just with Hender and I, we're going to make a landlord call. You know damn well it might be 2 hours of schlup, but there's going to be a phone ringing.
There's that word again.
You're going to hear the phone ring, and we're going to make a call. All right. Hender, you know I love you.
Danny, I tell you, I don't, look, they're not taking, and I say with the most respect, they're not taking advantage of you and what you do. Then look, it's on them. I don't know what to tell you.
There's been this. You've been around for part of this explosion in laundromats, TikTok, Instagram.
Yet again, you're the one who says, I don't want click, I don't want views, I don't want accolades, I don't want reviews, I don't want testimony. What the hell?
No. Because to me, it's more important. When someone goes on a forum and says, oh, nothing's free, they're talking to you, Hender. They're not talking about me. They're telling you you're full of shit. They're telling Wade, who's on here, that he's full of shit. And look,
Well, the way that I look at it, Danny, is that I prefer to invest in a flight to Florida, in couple nights in a hotel, in an event that to get to meet you and to know that you were real. And I prefer to do that. And what's the worst that can happen? My attorney says. What's the worst that can happen? I asked myself a couple years ago before I met you. I will lose a couple $1,000. Okay, $2,000-$3,000. But at least I'm not gonna, invest in quarter of $250,000 in a laundromat.
Yeah.
Much less the next 20 years of a lease that I have signed that is in my pocket for the next 20 years. So I prefer to lose the worst case scenario, right?
And that's you.
Couple $1,000, less, couple $100.
You're a press the flesh guy who wants to meet in person. I never knew you were in the background, kind of lurking and seeing what I was about. And you can tell even from 100 yards away when somebody turns around and drops their cigarette and says, fuck you. You can see the body language that goes on. And I didn't know you were around there looking, but that's your thing. You want to have a look. I mean, I'm on here, and the biggest compliment people can give me is you're real. It's like, yeah, but I don't see that as a compliment. Because telling me that I'm real only points the finger at the rest of the world and what we all expect. We expect to be taken advantage of. We expect to buy a book, and it turns out a waste of 8 hours of our time and $28. We expect to watch a TV show and never be impressed. There's no more Kelly's Heroes, man. Our heroes are now pretty boys with man buns. We're not, and when we get used to it. I don't know. Don't get me started. I'm only 54.
Yeah, no, no, but I know exactly what you're saying 100%. But at the end of the day, when I told you that you were in the line for me to meet whatever my standards are, and you were one of the ones that, well, I'm glad you did it and you were able to do it, because there's nothing wrong with proving ourselves.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we should be happy that we're given the opportunity to prove ourselves, because we'll rise and shine. And yet again, you did it without even knowing that I was there. I was a fly on the wall. Jordan Reed, one of, he doesn't need to prove himself. We are real as real can get. But yet again, people need some type of proof. I don't know what kind of proof, whatever, man.
Once a week, I get an email from someone that asks me what I charge to come to their town and find them a proper and appropriate laundromat prospect. And I write them back and I say, nothing, because that doesn't exist. That doesn't make sense. Listen, dumbass, I have a silly course that teaches and trains and mentors you. You got to get off your hump. Hey, if you're in a wheelchair, I feel bad about saying that, but they're not. Once a week, they want me to do everything. Even if you get to the top, if you call it tier, you see the course, we consult like I'm about to do this gentleman that jumped on and paid a few dollars today for my phone number for life. Guys, if you've seen the course and you want to move, fucking hit the button. Consult with me. You'll have my cell phone number today. Friday night. Cancel the movies with the kids. I am such a small part of this, even if you're top tier. You are doing the other things. Oh, let me use an analogy. This is poignant. You wake up flat on your back in the hospital. The last thing you remember is being on some icy road in the middle of the night. Pretty sure you had a bad crash. You're surrounded by flowers. You look at the calendar on the wall, and 3 months have gone by. Shit, I was in a coma. In walks the 7-foot-tall, beautiful doctor with his flowing robes and his glinting white teeth. And you're clamoring to shake his hand and say, thank you for saving my life. But really, did he save your life, that doctor? Sure, he did 11 surgeries. He kept you in a medically induced coma. He knew exactly when to bring you out and when to tell your family to come visit. All his 22 years of schooling helped out. But who saved your life? What if the guy on the road that happened to be behind you didn't stop or didn't see you go over the cliff? Dialed 911. Then the chopper pilot that got you off that road, same icy road in the middle of the night. How about we could extend this to the guy that taught him that was an old Vietnam chopper pilot? How about the guy in the basement that keeps the operating instruments and the scalpel clean so that you don't get sepsis and die a week later? We could go on and on. The janitor that keeps the operating theater clean. The woman with the little computer that collects the bills. It takes a village to save your life. Hender, who am I in this scenario? This time I'm not the patient. That's your only hint. Who am I? Hender, you weren't listening to anything I said, were you?
Every word, brother.
Who am I in the scenario?
All I'm going to tell you is something, Danny D. All I'm going to tell you is something is that if somebody is not willing to spend a couple $100 in a silly course, they don't deserve to have a laundromat.
All right. I'm letting you go, Hender. I love you. Go do what you're doing. It's Friday night. Adios. Gracias.
Love you.
Love you too. I feel poorly because I know Hender he's with people. You guys go in the comments and tell me who you think I am in this scenario. Well, guess what? I'm not the doctor. I'm not even the guy that sweeps the floors. I'm the scalpel. I'm a small tool. Without that blade, your life wouldn't have been saved. But the village is you. If you're watching this and you want to get a little motivation from me, a non-motivational speaker, become the fucking village. If you're on here because of money or the lack thereof, or maybe you're already wealthy, well off. The preponderance of my clients are 300,000 plus people. And they see the value in owning yet another business, a different business. In my silly, bloviated, and ridiculous scenario, I'm not the doctor. You are the doctor and the village and the helicopter pilot and his Vietnam era friend. You're everybody. I just come in as that scalpel, the tool. You're the village. I'm just the village idiot. I'm just here to do a small thing. You give me the phone numbers of the stores that you scout and I will shine. Yeah, it's fun to watch short videos of me screaming at landlords and them calling me a penis.
There's that word again.
But the reality is, most of the calls I make just fall into place. They don't make for clicks. Wade in the Great White North, Canada, who has a free laundromat, and my laundromat here in Canada, oh, I guess I didn't have to say that. They take quarters, loonies, dollar coins, and toonies. Are you shitting me? $2 coins. Loonies and toonies? Oh my God. Hanna-Barbera. Most people, you're making me laugh and it makes my cheek hurt. Most people use $1 in my store, quarters mostly for the dryers. Thank you, Wade. I left for 4 months last year, but I traveled 2 to 4 weeks at a time. I left for 4 months. I traveled 2 to 4 weeks at a time, several times per year. Okay, so is that business? Is it fun? Is it this? Is it that? There are tons of ways to get around your issue. You can use an auditor. You can hire somebody to do this. It's not the best way, but if you must travel, you do, or you use family. That's in the course. Ralph, man, Hender's always on the prowl getting mats. Awesome. Yeah, he's not stopping, man. Listen to Hender, says Joe Dan. I saw the course. It was great. I'll have to watch it probably 3 or 4 more times before I call you. No, you don't. Do it now. Wade says, I mean, the course saved me $235,000, so a few hundred was the best money I've ever spent. Truly, and the best way to get into this business. Thank you, Wade. Wade, how do you feel about Carney? Okay, we're talking politics now. If you're taking over a laundromat that's been closed and needs 50,000 remodel plus new machines, is it really any worse to buy one for the same price that doesn't need gutting? Oh boy. Not a fan because you're not telling me your name. If you're taking over a laundromat that's been closed and needs $50,000 remodel plus new machines, okay, is it really any worse to buy for the same price that doesn't need gutting? We wouldn't do this on a store that needs gutting. So you're already wrong. And that 50,000 is probably 100. Most of the stores that we take over are existing laundries that are operating, bro. Pay attention. You're wrong if you think that what we do is just simply take over busted up old shut down laundries. There's not enough of them, but there's tons of busted up old shitty operating laundries, and all of the infrastructure is in place behind that equipment. So all you're doing, getting TI, getting rent abatement. You want to spend $50,000 to buy someone's failed laundry? Never a scenario where that makes sense. But go do it. Don't spend a few bucks on a stupid course, silly course.
Try not to be an idiot.
Joe Dan says there are some good Tide franchises you can get. You'll be buried in debt. When they repo and resell and resell and resell again, the ROI is for Tide. Just an example. See, as I started to read that, Joe Dan, I knew exactly what tone and tenor to take. So, love you. He's correct. Then our buddy is back, whatever his name is, assuming the landlord won't give TI to get the trashed laundromat up and running. You're not really understanding this. You want to go with the first girl who lifts her skirt. Marry her, have some kids, have a life. That's not the girl. There are too many fish in the sea. I hope this all makes sense. Eric says, I first discovered about laundromats from the gurus. Then I discovered Danny, and he asked me, how many laundromats does she own? And that's when I knew I didn't actually learn shit from them. Scary. I don't own any laundromats. I took my exit. Now I have my fingers in the pies of more laundromats than anyone on earth. Imagine that. I have consulted with folks at far less cost that have spoken to these gurus at hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a half an hour talk. And I say, what did you learn? Crickets. And if and when my name comes up, they say, oh, Pshaw. And one of the big things to get others off of me is just, he doesn't even have any laundromats anymore. This week, I'll look at 300, 400, 500 photographs of clients' laundries all over the world. Mark Carney is the new Canadian PM. Yeah, we know that, dude. This isn't a political channel. Have a great day. Wade says the scalpel. Wade, shut up. You already know that analogy of mine. Cool gaming handle, says Frank. Vietnam, ha ha ha. You weren't paying attention. Hey, Danny, if it's 2 laundromats with no air conditioning, can the landlord give in help to let you take over? Okay, we need to speak in full sentences, people. And you don't need to write, hey, Danny, because this is my channel. If it's 2 laundromats with no AC, can the landlord give in help to let you take over? That's called tenant improvement money and 100%. The argument is I'm not going to give you $10, $20, $30, $40,000 in order to put air conditioning on the roof. I'm not going to provide that type of TI money for this space. How is that an argument? Because my next line would be, are you fucking serious?
Try not to be an idiot.
That landlord is saying that he's not going to put air conditioning unit on the roof? Why? Because we're a shitty laundromat? You know what he says next? Every time to a T, they fall into the trap every time. Well, I'll just vanilla the space and have some inventory for a while, and I'll get an optometrist or a national chain in there. Oh, really? Without spending money for air?
There's that word again.
You're trying to tell me that you're going to lease the space to an eye doctor who doesn't need air conditioning. All right, buddy. And I'm not just here to try to win an argument, because winning arguments doesn't get you what you want. Are you married? Winning arguments doesn't get you what you need. In business, you're not trying to crush them with a one argument. You're trying to make them understand, oh, this is what you should be doing in order to have a good long-term tenant and to collect the appropriate and commensurate rate of rent for us and you. Britt is now a fan, and Britt was sitting next to, he was my hospital roomie. So that's amazing. Poor Britt was stuck in there for a week. I got out in a day. Britt, they came in and they asked, I don't know if you noticed, they said, we have to give you this so you can have a bowel movement. And I was like, I already went at 5 o'clock in the morning because the nurse went on break. And between your snoring, that was 5 a.m. So I told the other gal, the day nurse started, and I said, I already went. They won't let you leave till you poo. I ended up pooping the next day, but it's between you and me. What does jam my band mean? Jam with your band? I don't know this stuff. You're the medical professor. Okay, thank you. DB, thanks, Danny. My travel business and pleasure, both. I do intend to cut down on the business trips over the next few years, and when I can replace the income. Still want to do some fun trips, though. Thanks for the response. I appreciate you. Today, my day is going to include picking up the phone and calling my friend Simon and doing something that only requires one hand. This hand is kind of blown up. Look at that. Ooh, you can see the difference. There are no veins in this hand. It's too bloaty uppy. I have to keep it elevated. I don't want to look like a douche here, like, the whole video. My only marching orders for those of you who are serious about owning a laundromat and who want to end up in a position like Hender, driving the Cadillac, sorry, Hender, driving the Mercedes 100 miles an hour all over Long Island, having that cash business and working on number 2, which we've almost sealed. We've got an offer at $1.25. This is done. They're going to take that operator, throw them out, and install Hender like the other guy's comment. I don't feel poorly. I didn't destroy that business. I didn't lose every customer. They did. You know why? Typically, they did that because they bought it. They were underwater the moment they bought it. Then they realized they had to retool it and couldn't afford that because they bought it.
There's that word again.
Don't buy one. I'm one of the biggest laundromat advocates on the fucking planet. If you can't see that, you're blind. But I want to see you do it right. My marching orders for you: don't dick around and watch 1,000 YouTube videos. Get the silly course. And if you already have it, stop procrastinating. Get into the course, or you're watching all my videos, and hit the button and let's talk. You get my cell phone number for life. I don't restrict you. You don't need to look for fine print. Well, how long can we talk, Danny? Unlimited. Seems silly, but that's the way I want it. I don't want to be bothered. It comes back to me personally, and no one's ever taken advantage. So let's jump on a call, or several. It's my cell phone number. I'll prove it. Unsolicited.
Hey, Danny.
I hate when people just call me without sending me a text and saying they're about to call me.
You got it.
You got it. I just did that. Are you watching YouTube?
I'm at my computer, but I'm not. I can jump on. You're on?
No, I'm just fucking with you. I mean, I'm sitting here on an hour and 20-minute live. I thought I'd call and say, I'm going to call you as soon as I hang up this YouTube thing.
Great. Well, you got me.
I got you. I was going to make fun of you if you answered in some corporate way. You're still good, though. You're not drunk. It's Friday night. We can talk.
Nursing from last night.
Oh, good. Good man. You're hungover.
Yeah.
You tell a bunch of fifth graders, he's hungover. I know what that means. You're drunk. No, that means I was drunk last night. All right.
That's right.
I'll call you in 10. Is there
Sounds
anything
great.
you want
Thanks.
to say to the YouTube universe?
I've been enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. Did you, why laundromats? Why did you want to do laundromats?
I've done my own laundry my whole life. I might as well be on the other side.
You've done your laundry in a laundromat your whole life? Is that what you said?
Well, I mean, I've physically done my own laundry even when I was younger. I didn't like when my mom did it. So yeah, and I do use a laundromat.
Okay. So your impetus for doing this is just doing laundry.
No, I mean, there's obviously a lot more to that. It's ownership. It's potential for income. It's
Of course.
all
Well,
those
I don't want to
things.
look. You're gonna find out that my consultations are not what you might think. I don't sit and talk about laundries. That's never the first thing I'm going to bring up. But that being said, since there's like 40 people watching this, not a big deal. Innocuous questions. How old are you?
41.
41. What do you do for money?
I've been an art director for
And-
most of my career.
An art director.
Yes.
I like that.
I did like 3D animation and rendering and marketing and all
what
that
is
stuff. Yeah.
What is the end goal for that art direction? Is it film? Is it Broadway? What?
No, it's not. It's nothing actually. I don't want to be doing that.
Well, I know, but your current, do you hang a shingle? Do you have your own production company, or do you work for somebody?
No. I worked for a few startups, and then I worked for a big real estate company for a little while, and that's sort of not the direction I want to be in anymore.
Yeah. No, I deal with a lot of folks that that's the obvious thing, right? You want to do something else, and laundries are in front of you, and frankly, I'm glad I'm glad you found me. Did you?
Yeah, me
In this
too.
in this journey, I know you found me on YouTube, likely. You know, I've got other platforms, but this is my big thing. Did you listen to anybody else's information at any point? Did you go down a rabbit hole or listen to some guru tell you to buy one?
Sort of, but not with any intent from that. I mean, I have actually like I've exchanged emails with brokers just to see what that was like, and I never considered that. I mean, I looked at it as the same way you do. Like that's a serious investment for what potential you don't even know.
Right.
And then you
right.
kind of came my way somehow because YouTube knows what I'm watching all the time. And then you popped up and I started watching, and here we are.
Yeah, the algorithm. And to you, being a savvy East Coast guy, you're like, wait a minute. And the brokers want you to sign a non-disclosure, and they only give you one thing, an address. You can see all the information and 20-year-old photographs of this girl you're supposed to date, but there's this ambiguous cut-off hand on her shoulder, and there's a Christmas tree in the background, even though it's mid-July, and you're wondering something doesn't match up. Best photo she ever took, but I digress. They want you to sign
That's
an
right.
NDA so they can give you the address. And you don't need them because you can go out and scout every laundromat in the tri-state area without them. Kind of silly.
Which is what I'm doing. So that's why I came to you.
All right. You're boring as fuck. I'll call you back in a couple minutes.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Simon.
Bye.
Simon sent me an email and said, hey, I know you're not consulting now because you're injured, so here's some questions. And I said, yeah, I answered the questions. And I said, I'm of course I'm consulting. Same to you. Get off your humps, people. Let's get to work. Joshua says, hey, Danny, I hope Wolverine and Deadpool are jealous of you. Those are not real people. I am. You need to invest in non-exploding bicycles in your garage, Danny. True. All right. I'm going to leave the inside joke comments up to you, kids. Make an off-the-wall, silly-ass comment as soon as I say end here in 2 seconds on the video. I know it's asking a lot for you fuckers.
Try not to be an idiot.
To go over to that area and make a comment, but go do it. Nobody's taking me out. I'm not going anywhere, fuckers. Ciao.